basically, run. Written by Dalek Prime. So this was your big plan, Dipper? Wendy shouted at her young friend as she, Grunkle Stan, Seuss, and the twins walked onto the rooftop of the Mystery Shack to confront something that just minutes ago was about to destroy the entire town. Earlier today, the skies over Gravity Falls had something floating in it that no human being thought they would ever see in their entire lifespan. Out of the heavens came a lone spacecraft, which parked itself over the Mystery Shack and gave a stunning declaration that these creatures called the Gargons had come to the town of Gravity Falls to be judged by their galactic empire and act as an example for the rest of Earth's people on how they should behave in the future if they judged to annihilate the town. The townspeople were instantly whipped into a panic, fearing the end of all things, all except for two children. Right from the start, the brother-sister team of Dipper and Mabel Pines went to work on stopping the extraterrestrial conquerors. While the rest of the town cowered away in their homes, waiting for the end with their families, the two siblings began their plan to send the would-be interstellar conquerors off-world along with their friends and great-uncle. Now they were here, facing an enemy that could easily erase them from existence without a hesitation and just might become the future rulers of the planet. But from what Wendy could see, neither of the kids had a look of fear in their eyes. Dipper and his sister looked up at the spacecraft with a strong look of determination on their faces and did something that no one, not even the invaders, were anticipating. They grinned. "Come on, then!" Dipper boldly called out to the ship hovering over the building. "My sister and I would like to have a word with you." "Dipper, shut up!" Stan warned his nephew. "They'll kill us!" "Relax, Grunkle Stan. We've got this under control," Mabel assured casually. Just then, from the underside of the spacecraft opened up to reveal a long mechanical tentacle that lowered itself down to the twins' level. The tentacle then formed a giant eyeball at the end of it, and then it examined its surroundings before facing the children, who still didn't so much as flinch at the object before them. "That's it, dudes. Game over, dudes. Game over," Seuss shouted in a panic. "Calm down, Seuss. They know what they're doing," Wendy said, stunned by the twins' bravado. "I hope." The eyeball then scanned both the twins before speaking to them. "You are not of this town." "No, but my sister and I have put a lot of work into it," Dipper replied to the eyeball. "Is this town important?" "Important? What does that mean, important?" the boy sternly demanded. "Over 1,600 people live here. Is that important?" He never raised his voice. That's what both frightened and amazed Wendy the most as she watched Dipper face off with the aliens. He was like fire and ice and rage, but he had a sense of kindness to him, and above all else, he's wonderful, she thought to herself. "And here's a better question," the preteen continued. "Is Gravity Falls a threat to the Gargons?" The machine did not respond to Dipper's question, making everyone aside from the kids on edge. Had the boy angered the space travelers? "Well, come on then, you're monitoring the whole state. Is this town a threat?" he asked again. Suddenly the eyeball created a holographic image of the town and then began to show images of different people and landmarks that resided within it. The aliens viewed their findings from the safety of their ship. The twins each sprouted a small grin on their faces. "No. Are the people of this town, and even this entire planet, guilty of any crimes by the laws of the Gargons?" The brave boy furthered his question. The eyeball created another hologram. This time it showed the entire planet Earth and the entire human race. The images flashed through some of the planet's biggest events, such as the fall of the Berlin Wall, World War II, and the moon landing, in fewer than 30 seconds before giving its answer. "No." "Okay! Well, I'm all out of questions," Dipper said before returning to his sister. "Do you have anything to ask our guests, Mabel?" "I have one more question. Just one more," she replied before looking over the eyeball. "Is this town protected?" Once again, the eyeball created more holograms. Only these images were not of any planet, or any humans. This time, it created images of all the creatures and people the children had encountered, like Gideon, the gnomes, and the elderly ghost of the convenience store. "You're not the first ones to come to this town. Oh, there have been so many others," Mabel explained. "And what you've got to ask is, what happened to them?" Now the holograms that the eye was creating were that of the brother and sister team defeating every single enemy that came their way. As the hologram showcased the children's adventures, Wendy, Stan, and Seuss could only stand there and be astonished by what they were seeing. It was then that the teenager finally realized why these two siblings were standing before the invaders with just a mere warning. They were being kind. Just then, the twins stepped through the holograms and approached the machine. "Hello." We're the mystery twins, Dipper greeted with a smile. Basically, run, his sister added. And run the space creatures did. The ship instantly rocketed up into the heavens with the intentions of never returning again, leaving behind the two triumphant kids. They then looked over to their friends and great-uncle, who were all in a state of total shock at what they had just witnessed. They're... Seuss attempted to make words. Gone? Yep. And if they know it's good for them, they'll never come back, the energetic girl happily answered. But you guys had no weapons, no defenses. Hell, you didn't even have so much as a plan, Wendy exclaimed in disbelief. Yeah, and that just scared him to death, Dipper replied with a laugh. I think I need to lie down for a while, was all Grunkle Stan could say before he made his way off the roof of the building and into the gift shop itself. But first I need to change my pants. I'm with you on that, Mr. S., the overweight man mentioned as he followed his employer off the roof. Wendy remained on the roof with the kids, who were currently looking up the stars, making sure there wasn't any traces of the off-world visitors left. She began to feel sad for the siblings. They had prevented not only the destruction of Gravity Falls, but possibly the end of all mankind as well, and no one except her and two others would ever be able to know about it. No one would thank them a million times over as they walked down the street, or build a statue in their honor, like all great heroes got. Dipper then glanced over the team and motioned with his hand for her to join him and his sister, which she gladly accepted. As the trio looked up into the night sky, Wendy worked up the courage to tell the mystery twins what was on her mind. Doesn't it bother you, she began? No one will ever know what you did here today. You two seriously can't be okay with that. Dipper chuckled before he made his reply. Wendy, there are worlds out there where the sky's burning, where the seas sleep and the rivers dream, where people made of smoke and... What my brother is trying to say all artsy-like is... We know we'll never be thanked, Mabel cut in. But for us, the adventure is all that counts. I like my explanation better, her brother mumbled. Do you think I could tag along? The older girl asked. I mean, I handled those ghosts pretty well a while back, and you two made those aliens go crying home with their tails between their legs. Sure, absolutely, the boy nearly shouted out, making his sister roll her eyes. But if you do, we should warn you. It won't be quiet, it won't be safe, and it won't be calm, the younger girl said. But I'll tell you what it will be. What's that? Wendy questioned. Dipper reached out and took the teen by her hand. Now it was her turn for her heart to jump. It'll be fantastic, he finished, smiling up at her, making her smile as well. Wendy had no idea what she'd just gotten herself into, or if she'd survive the experience, but deep down, she knew as long as she stuck with the twins, especially if she stuck very close to Dipper, she could take on any monster or madman that came their way. I don't know about you guys, but one alien invasion is enough adventure for me today, Mabel mentioned. Besides, I'm hungry, and I've got some apples I've been waiting to eat. Ugh, I hate apples, Mabel, her brother shot back. Then go eat some of those awful jelly babies you have stashed away in your sock drawer, the sweater-wearing preteen answered as she made her way off the rooftop. Hey, jelly babies are delicious, Dipper snapped back in defense of his beloved candy as he and Wendy followed her. Have you guys ever tried fish fingers and custard? Wendy added, in which they replied in unison, No. I think you guys both might like it. The siblings looked at one another and quietly came to an agreement. They nodded at their new companion, indicating that they would indeed try the seafood. Great. Come along then, Pines, she said. Allons-y. The end.